Welcome to Cheat Masters. Join us for relatable cheating stories that will make you laugh, cry, and nod your head in recognition that I've been with my husband for over 6 years, married for 4 of them. We have a 20-month-old son together. We met at a friend's house party and connected almost immediately. 2 years into dating, we got married. Shortly after, we decided to start a family, and we were blessed with a beautiful son. He always dreamed of having both a son and a daughter, and we had started planning for our second child. Life seemed perfect, but as time went on, our responsibilities increased. Taking care of the baby consumed most of our time, and our intimacy started to dwindle. Despite this, my husband reassured me repeatedly that he was still attracted to me. He would try to initiate intimacy often, but I kept turning him down. Most of the time, it was because of my own insecurities. I didn't feel confident in my body after giving birth. When we went out together, I noticed women glancing at him, sometimes trying to make eye contact. It bothered me more than I wanted to admit. I told him about it, and he always reassured me, saying, "I only love you." One evening, after a long shift at the hospital, my husband came home exhausted. He went straight to bed without much conversation. While he slept, I began looking through his phone, his Instagram and Messenger chats. To my surprise, I found conversations with several women, some of whom were ex-girlfriends. I read messages where they had invited him for coffee or asked to meet as friends, but in every instance he turned them down. He was polite yet firm. One message stood out. An ex had texted him out of the blue, suggesting they meet up for some good times, clearly referring to something intimate. His response, "I have a wife," followed by blocking her. Damn, my husband was loyal. But despite his unwavering loyalty, I began creating scenarios in my head. I convinced myself he must have cheated with at least one of these women. Instead of talking to him about my feelings, I made a devastating decision. I contacted an ex-boyfriend I hadn't spoken to in years. At first, I told myself it was just a talk, but deep down, I wanted revenge. I wanted him to feel the same pain I imagined he'd cause me, even though I had no proof. One thing led to another, and I met my ex at a nearby hotel. I thought it would be harmless, but we ended up being intimate. The moment it happened, regret hit me like a truck. I felt disgusted with myself. Looking back, I realize now I wasn't seeking revenge. I think I wanted to meet my ex all along and use my husband as an excuse to justify my actions. This happened during the day while my husband was at work, completely unaware of my betrayal. He didn't suspect a thing. For 3 days, I carried the crushing guilt inside me until one night, as we sat in front of the television, I broke down. Through my tears, I confessed everything. He just stared at me. He didn't yell, scream, or even ask why. He stood up silently, walked upstairs, and locked the bedroom door. I followed him, sobbing outside the door, begging him to speak to me, but he stayed silent. Hours later, he came out, his face blank, and left the house. I haven't heard a word from him since. His silence spoke louder than any argument ever could. It was a silence that screamed, "I'm done." The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. My husband was no longer mine. My life feels completely ruined. I hate myself more than anything and wish I could turn back time. I just want him back, but I don't know how to move forward. Yesterday, he came home briefly, but only for a few hours. He didn't say a word to me. Instead, he went straight to our son. He spent time with him, but avoided me entirely. I kept crying, hoping he'd at least talk to me. Before leaving again, he began packing a bag. That's when I panicked. I fell apart, begging him to stay and talk. I told him I'd be completely transparent, that I'd explain everything if he wanted to know. He stood there, cold and emotionless, and finally said, "I don't want to know anything. I know all that I need to know." And then he walked out after confessing my betrayal. My husband returned home briefly, only to pack more of his things. Watching him move around silently gathering his belongings, sent me into a complete panic. I couldn't stop myself. "I love you," I said through sobs. "Please, I'll do anything to fix this." I stopped midway because I felt guilty. Before I could finish my sentence, he dropped what he was holding, stormed over, and pushed me against the wall. He grabbed my arm firmly and screamed, "I told you to shut the F** up." That I had never seen him so angry or disgusted. For a moment, I thought he might hit me, but he didn't. His restraint somehow made it worse. It showed me just how far I had pushed him. I tried to reach for him, desperate to hug him, but he recoiled as if my touch physically burned him. "You're used and broken to me now," he said coldly. "I want nothing to do with you." His words shattered me. I fell to the floor, sobbing, as he walked away. Through my tears, I choked out, "What does this mean? What's going to happen to us?" Without even turning to face me, he replied flatly, "We're getting a divorce." Reflection and regret. His reaction wasn't just anger, it was devastation. He had given everything to our relationship, and I had betrayed him in a way he never saw coming. His loyalty was unwavering. I knew it because I had seen the proof in his messages. When I went through his phone, I saw conversations with other women, some of them ex-girlfriends. But in every single instance, he had turned them down. Even when one blatantly offered to hook up, he responded firmly, "I have a wife," and blocked her. Yet, instead of feeling reassured by his loyalty, my insecurities got the best of me. I convinced myself he must be hiding something and sabotaged the relationship by reaching out to my ex. There was no excuse for what I did, and I hate myself for it. Now, I'm left broken and filled with regret. I know I destroyed everything. Therapy might help me process this, but it won't undo the pain I caused or bring my husband back. His perspective. In hindsight, it's clear how deeply I hurt him. He didn't yell or fight after my confession because he was beyond anger. He was done. His silence, his refusal to argue, it all screamed that he had nothing left to give. People have said that insecurity might have driven my actions. But looking back, my husband gave me no reason to be insecure. He was fully dedicated to our family, rejecting every advance from other women and prioritizing me. I ignored all the signs of his love and loyalty, allowing my own doubts to sabotage our marriage. What was the point of my actions? What did I hope to achieve by turning to my ex? My husband had every right to walk away. A lesson for others. I've seen people argue that he gave up too quickly, that he should have fought for our marriage. But what more could he have done? He was blindsided by my betrayal, and staying with me would have meant sacrificing his self-respect. Some men, like my husband, know when to walk away. If a woman cheats and tries to come back, it's often because her first option didn't work out. Accepting her back means settling for being her second choice, which no one deserves. Once trust is broken, it's almost impossible to rebuild. If it happened once, it could happen again. And even if it doesn't, the lingering doubt and pain can poison a relationship. Where I am now, I don't know if my marriage can ever be saved. My husband is gone, physically and emotionally. I'm left with nothing but regret. I'm broken, and I don't even recognize myself anymore. If you're reading this, I hope my story serves as a cautionary tale. Don't let insecurities or unfounded suspicions ruin something beautiful. Communicate with your partner before jumping to conclusions. And if you have someone loyal, someone who chooses you every day, don't take that for granted. I may never get my husband back, but I'll spend the rest of my life learning from this mistake. When a woman loses a good man, a genuinely good man who was loyal, understanding, supportive, and made her feel safe, she will regret it for the rest of her life. Such men are rare, and once she realizes that, it's a truth that will haunt her. At first, she might think replacing him will be easy because he made her believe all men were like him. But when she steps out into the world, she'll find out how wrong she was. That good man was one of a kind, and losing him is a loss she'll carry forever, especially when he doesn't take her back. A man's silence speaks volumes. Many men in this situation stay silent because they are calculating everything: the cost of leaving, the impact on their children, and how their life will change. They weigh their options, knowing that staying in a broken relationship isn't sustainable. That silence is what happened in my situation. I remember the look on his face. It wasn't anger. It was pure resignation. That look said, "I know I'm wasting my life, but I don't know how to leave yet." He was staying for the children, not for me. It's something a lot of men do because they want their kids to grow up in a two-parent household. But over time, even that isn't enough to justify staying in a relationship that drains you mentally and emotionally. Eventually, he started packing his things. I panicked, begged, and cried, but it was no use. He had already decided. What hurt the most wasn't his anger. It was his coldness. He didn't even want to argue. He just wanted out. Men need to value themselves. When a man accepts a woman back after she's betrayed him, he is throwing away his self-respect. He's essentially admitting that he's okay being her second choice, her fallback option when things didn't work out with whoever she left him for. This dynamic is damaging for any man. If you let her back in, 3 things are likely to happen. You lose your self-respect. By taking her back, you show her that you're willing to sell for less and that you'll accept being treated poorly. It will happen again. If someone betrayed you once, there's always a possibility they'll do it again. They've already shown they're capable of it. You'll miss your true match. By wasting your energy on someone who doesn't deserve you, you could be overlooking the woman who's truly right for you, the one who will love and respect you as her first and only choice. Too many men fall into this trap, trying to fix things with a person who doesn't value them. Meanwhile, they miss the chance to meet someone who genuinely appreciates them for who they are. The cost of staying for the kids. I've seen men stay in relationships like this for the sake of their children. They want to give their kids the stability of a two-parent home, even at the cost of their own happiness. While their patience and sacrifice are admirable, it's important to recognize when a situation is doing more harm than good. If staying is negatively impacting your mental health, your ability to parent, and your overall well-being, then leaving might be the best decision for everyone involved. The truth is, when a man reaches his breaking point, his decision to leave has often been building for a long time. In my case, my husband gave me all the signs. He stopped engaging with me emotionally, and his silence became deafening. I ignored the signs until it was too late. What she'll realize too late when a woman loses a good man, she often doesn't realize the magnitude of her mistake until she experiences life without him. She might try to replace him quickly, but eventually, she'll come to understand that good, loyal men are not easy to find. My ex, he moved on and he didn't look back. I reached out after 6 months of silence, but he gave me that same silence right back. I know he's gone for good now, and I feel the weight of my mistakes every single day. A final thought for men. Men, don't waste your time on someone who doesn't respect or deserve you. Use that energy to find the woman who's on the same page as you, someone who will be grateful for the opportunity to be by your side. A good man knows his worth, and when faced with betrayal, he has the strength to walk away and never look back. I wasn't good to her. I took too much effort, and in the end, I gave up. That is true to some degree. Some people are difficult to replace because they provide a level of experience that can't easily be found elsewhere. That's why I partially agree with what she said. However, we can't forget that sometimes a guy can be a good person who does everything in his power to make his partner happy. But if she isn't fully healed, she won't be able to recognize the quality of the man she is by her side. In those cases, she won't regret losing him or try to come back because she never truly saw him for who he was. Some women become so addicted to the drama only Chad can provide that they have no issue leaving a good guy for someone who only cares about themselves. That's the reality for many good men. The harsh reality for good men. A lot of good men find themselves in situations where their spouse or partner leaves them and, before they even process the breakup, they see her already dating someone like Chad just weeks later. At first, She might be thrilled by the excitement Chad offers. But in most cases, that excitement fades quickly, especially when Chad reveals his true intentions. That's when the realization hits. She was better off with the good guy she thought wasn't good enough. In some cases, she'll try to come back, hoping to win him over again. But by then, it's often too late. The good man has either moved on or lost all interest. The power of discipline in achieving dreams. Welcome to our self-development section. Today, we're discussing why the wrong mindset and unrealistic expectations destroys so many dreams. The number one reason people fail is that they don't have a realistic understanding of what it takes to achieve their goals. Many people expect success to come quickly and easily, without realizing how much time, energy, and sacrifice are required. As one entrepreneur explained, success often demands working 100-hour weeks for 10 years or more. During that time, you'll need to stay focused, avoid distractions, and reinvest every bit of your earnings back into your dreams. The problem? Most people aren't willing to make those sacrifices. They want balance. Time to attend their kids' games, go to every party, and enjoy life. But the truth is, achieving your dreams often requires a period of imbalance. You must grind relentlessly before you can enjoy the rewards. For years, you might only make $10, and while others spend $10, you'll need to live on $1 and reinvest the rest into your business or goals. It's this discipline that sets successful people apart. The struggle with instant gratification. The second big challenge is our addiction to instant gratification. Many people would rather choose a job that guarantees a paycheck every 30 days than chase their dreams, simply because dreams don't come with guaranteed rewards. This mindset is especially common today, where we become conditioned to expect everything right now. Big achievements don't work that way. They require delayed gratification, a willingness to work hard and remain patient, even when there's no immediate payoff. As the entrepreneur explained, it took him 10 years of relentless effort before he was in a position to enjoy the fruits of his labor. But none of it would have been possible without discipline and focus. If you want to achieve your goals, you must be prepared to work for an extended period without immediate rewards. Develop the discipline to avoid distractions. Commit to delayed gratification, knowing that the sacrifices you make now will pay off in the future. This is all for today's video. We hope you found this insight valuable. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel on your way out. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and comment and press bell icon for more cheating stories.